Obviously last practice before school starts, put a lot of our players, I guess right now, 1 week out, I would say we're a flash team. I see flashes and glimpses of the team that we could become and be. I also see flashes of glimpses of the team that is going to struggle with style of play, mental toughness. I think every team in the country is going through the same things with the transfers, the new additions, the high school players, and we're still work in progress, and we're going to be work in progress the entire year. When you look at, our team has really only had August to work together. There's only so much you can do in the summer, but what you really find out about your competitive character is when the adversity hits. And, the natural adversities that a long football season brings about, they're coming. No team ever goes through any adversities. And it's the teams that have the leadership that can be better for it. You look at Ohio State and what they were able to do, and you do that because of you have leadership and you have a strong locker room. And we have good people in our program. We're just teaching them how to lead every single day, and the encouraging thing is I see individuals that are trying. But we're not game ready by any stretch of the imagination. Probably a little bit behind at this juncture in terms of style of play, taking the ball away, not losing the game before you can win the game, all the little winning football details, and that's why every practice rep, every walkthrough, every meeting is vital with this football team.
How is the focus today with class on the horizon tomorrow?
Yeah, as a coach, you've learned throughout the years that I told our staff last night, this will be our biggest challenge. I liked our approach. I liked our approach in the meetings. We challenged our players. We have 6 straight games, and we have 2 Power 4 opponents back-to-back, and before that, we have a national championship football team at the FBS level in SEMO coming in here. So when you really look at the way we have to start the season, we're probably the underdog in all of them. And so everything is how you approach it. I think the problem that we're having right now is we all want to do well, but when it gets a little bit hot and it gets a little bit harder, we have individuals that cave in. And we talk about mental toughness, and really what mental toughness is what does it take to break you? How much does it take to break you? Is it dropping a football? Is it a missed assignment? Is it your conditioning? Everyone has different mental thresholds, and that's what we really focused on today as much as anything.
Who are some guys that you have seen take ownership, really move into that leadership role through camp?
Well, Trent and Allen Yo is one individual that, has come a long way in our program. He's a transfer. He's benefited from being here since January, and you can kind of see that. He's matured, but we really need more. And it's also the other individuals, the older players in our program. I think, I see different people try to lead at different times, but you find out about leadership in times of adversity, and being a leader is hard because, good friends you go to the movies with. Good teammates are going to tell you the truth and hold you to a standard, and our standard's not going to change, and our kids are doing a good job with that. We spend an inordinate amount of time on leadership, growth, and development that comes along with that. But you really only know about your leadership through adversity, and that's why we've tried to create some chaos in practice. But really, honestly, in all my years of doing this, this is probably the biggest unknown of a football team I've ever been a part of, going into the first game, just because of the new faces and having so many individuals that I've never gone to battle with before. I don't know, are they battle tested? How are they going to be when they score? How are we going to be when we have a penalty or turn the football over? All those things of managing the emotions of a football game. We pride ourselves in being a passionate team, but not an emotional team.
What are the biggest areas of improvement you've seen in fall camp?
Well, I see a lot of individual improvement that obviously helps a collective. The running back position, I think our pass pro, some different things there, our level of physicality when we run the football. I think we're doing a better job of strip attempts and trying to take the ball away on defense. That's a mindset. So I see us getting better there. But I don't think there's one area right now that really stands out, because I think it still goes back to what I said earlier. I see glimpses and I see flashes, but I don't see the consistency and performance that's required to win football games yet.
Saturday, you talked about the defensive line not really showing up. How did you feel they did today?
We spent a lot of time with them, and they want to do well. And I think it's just the mentality of owning your conditioning. You can't be physical, you can't run to the football if you're mentally tired all the time. And so it's your approach to the game. But I've liked their approach this week, and I think they built off of that challenge a little bit. And that's what I like about that room.
With Mackey getting some reps at linebacker, is that just about, looking at his versatility, or is that something that could be semi-permanent?
Both. Javante adds a level of versatility to our defense, where we can put him at DN, we can put him at outside linebacker, and we can put him on the inside too. When we moved him back to some inside linebacker, we finally had some knockback at the linebacker position, and he had some size there and some stature there. So I'm excited now with more reps at linebacker to see what he could do. Plus, I think he's a little more natural. He has more natural instincts there.
What's the biggest point of emphasis over the next week and a half going into that first game?
Well, there's a lot. I think, first of all, it's getting your minds right. It's getting your recovery back. It's in the next phase of the development of your football team with school starting. Now, how can you manage all the clutter? How can you manage all the distractions? How can you manage a full 15-hour course load? And how do you manage your time? And really now it comes down to what's important to you. It's school and football, and then everything else is after that. So I think the overall maturity as a team as we get into game prep for SEMO.
How's Mackey look physically? I know he was coming off the knee he probably had last.
Yeah, he continues to progress. He was slowed earlier in camp with an ankle, with a sprained ankle, but he's back, and I see him getting better and better every day.
You saw a couple of injuries. I mean, you had Mason Meyer was out a couple of weeks ago, and you had Hunter Summers coming out. How, injury-wise, how's the team?
We expect to have everyone back for the first game.
How well has Walker Davis played in Mason's absence there?
Yeah, one man's absence is another man's treasure. And, he's getting those reps that it takes, and he's learning. He's learning through those repetitions. But I see him getting better and better. I see him getting more comfortable. I see him getting better with the standards and expectations. And now we'll have some real competition when Mason gets back this week, to see who's going to be the center for the first game.
Is that good?
Good.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you.